What's up, everyone? Thank you again for coming to our roundtable discussion of Mobile Gaming News Network. I am Joe Schmo. If you haven't seen our other one, I am an anti-tuber. I write different articles on the website. I hit the niche market about different things coming to the Switch. I try to cover, the unusual stuff. I am joined by N12, Rudra,
Hey,
Miss. How do you say your name? I'm going to say Matcha the whole time if you don't want it.
It's Ryoka Matcha.
Ryoka Matcha, and then Dr. Hollow. Say hi, everyone.
hi,
Hello.
everyone.
All right. We'll do quick introductions for everyone. You can go first, 12.
I'm N12. I write on the site about mainly Don Memo and Sword Online Rising Steel, but I also stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/N12. And yeah, that's about it.
All right, Rudra.
Right, I'm Rudra. I'm one of the editors and sometimes writer at Mobile Gaming News Network. My specialization is mostly non-gacha mobile games, though I am a gacha addict, much like.
Oh no, I think he died on us.
No, I did not.
Oh, no. It cut out a little bit.
Did it? I apologize. Probably my mic.
No, you're good. You're good. Okay. Mr. Ryoko, your turn.
Ciao, everyone. My name is Ryoka Matcha. Basically, here at Mobile Gaming, I help out with a bit of the graphics here, as well as doing writing work for technically the upcoming Tales game, Tales of Crestoria, which is coming hopefully this upcoming months or so, hopefully. Otherwise, I am on YouTube and on Twitch on my channel, the Bubble Babble channel.
All right, and Mr. Dr. Hollow, your turn.
Hello. As I said before, but in case it's your first time, I'm Dr. Hollow. I'm the lead writer for Arknights for Mobile Gaming News. I don't really have like a streaming platform right now, but I mainly help out in the Discord servers for Arknights.
All right, that is all about us. So we're just going to give you some quick updates about the games that are going on right now. Who wants to take the first grab?
Well, let's start with Fate Grand Order, I guess, since that's the one game that's common to pretty much all of us. So in Fate Grand Order in North America, we do have the Valentine's event currently ongoing. Semiramis is far cuter than I expected, but I'm still not rolling for her. MHXX, I'm coming.
Oh, wait, you love MHXS?
Yes, I adore her.
Oh my
She's
god,
great.
she's adorable. I love her.
Yeah. And the Valentine's event, as we all know, it's a ladder event. You grind out points to get all the rewards on the ladder. And just doing it by regular AP should have you clearing the ladder by the time the event winds down if you don't want to bum rush it. So yeah, and we do know on the Japanese side, they've announced that there will be a Valentine's event, and they've shown us images of the new servant who looks a lot like a VTuber for some reason, but we don't know anything else.
I mean, some people are guessing interesting guesses, all based off of Asian culture. One of the ones I like is Guilmon.
Yeah, I really like that one, and I hope.
Yeah, Guilmon is a good choice, especially with the color similarities that are in the character, as well as like based off of Persona 5 and many other references.
Not to mention that if it is Goemon, there's a rivalry with the Murasaki Shikibu that will be very interesting, considering that Shikibu was a Valentine servant of last.
Yes, I do agree with that. Maybe it will be like a showdown sort of thing, maybe going on during the Valentine's Day event.
All right, let's see here. All right, I know 12. You mentioned Danmachi.
Yeah, so Don Machi is currently having a Goblin Slayer crossover event, and it started a week and a half ago now, and it's going to have a second part starting on Thursday.
All right. Let's see here. All right, any other big updates? Anything that we need to touch on?
Well, on the Tales side of things, for those that like the Tales games, Tales of Rays just uploaded a commercial just yesterday, I believe, actually. And on the commercial, they talked about the details of what's going on in February, which is quite a bit of stuff for that mobile game. First off, there's the God Eater event for the God Eater 10th anniversary going on, introducing a new character that you can get in the gacha. And then after that, I believe we have Valentine's Day event, which basically you can spend time with all the Tales characters and that sort of thing. And then after, I think the end of February, they're going to do a Tales of Gracias banner, where you can roll for the final villain of Tales of Graces, which is the Foudra Queen, I think was what her title was in the game. Basically, her character design is really nice, actually. She's a girl with like lovely purple hair that's short and a green outfit, and she's in relation, like, it sort of has relations to the character Sophie, if you know the character Sophie with the twin ponytail hair, purple hair, and she's trying to get her memories back in the game. Other than that, that is it for Tales of Rays this month.
Now, for Arknights, however, we're currently having the Granny and the Nice Treasure event, which is it's a lot more easier than some people would have had expected. But I think once next week comes by, we're getting the challenge nodes that you just need to complete one time. But obviously, it might be harder than how it was before. In this event, you're able to claim tokens, and with those tokens you could get a whole bunch of like upgrade materials, things for your dorms, and also we got our new 2 units that are the story is based off, which is Granny and Scotty, as well as 3 other whole new units from the gacha.
All right, who rolled for her? Who rolled for Scotty?
Yeah,
Depending on your luck-
easy clap.
Easy clap.
Depending on your luck, this Scotty might be easier than FGO's upcoming Scotty.
Oh man, I'm not looking forward to FGO's upcoming Sky because I know I'm going all in on it.
Oh,
I am actually skipping that banner because the MHXS banner is right after, and she is more important. Scotty comes around later. MHXS doesn't.
You have to
Here's
do
the
that
thing,
to me,
I have
Rachel. I'm
way
trying to MP5 my MHXA.
I'm not even that arrogant. Like I'd be happy with NP1. I hope for NP2.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing though, I have way too many quick servants to not get Scotty.
Well, like, I need Scotty for MHXA, because that combo is perfect. So I
Well,
gotta roll for
Yeah,
her.
no, I have MHA.
I mean, I could use a Scotty, but my normal strategy is red till dead. So,
Red till
and
dead.
and if worst comes worst, I have Tamamo and Merlin, so I can run stall teams, art stall teams of me.
Alright,
What's funny about
getting back to Arknights, though.
Yeah, what's funny about the whole Scotty banner is that people are actually pulling out, actually, instead of Scotty, they're getting Goat Girl instead, which is actually pretty funny.
Ooh, Skyfire?
No, not Skyfire. It's it's the one with the long name. It's Goat Girl. Let's see if I could.
I'm trying
It's
to.
a
roll.
6-star caster.
6-star.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yes,
pronouncing
yeah.
that name. Here, one
People are
sec.
pulling. Yeah, people are pulling Goat instead of
I
Scotty.
only got Skyfire off the Scotty banner,
This
so
one? Hollow, this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, her.
Age of Shala.
Oh, yes.
Which is funny because we actually skipped her banner and Ifrit's banner. So people are kind of happy, kind of not happy that they're
See,
not
I
getting.
I still have to laugh because in my first roll, here she is. I'm just like, what the heck? Every time I'm rolling for a character in Arknight, like, it was like Silver Ash, he came like first one of first roll. And then I roll for Scotty, first one of first roll. It's crazy with this game. Like, and then I see other people roll, and I'm just like, how can you get all these other 6 stars but not the one you want?
Yeah, that's what happened with me with this like Siege banner. Like I got any other 6-star except Siege, and I still didn't got her.
It
But
must be nice to get these nice SSRs and equivalent to them, because I'm just over here, like for Fake Go. Oh, look at this, a 3-star craft essence. So look at a 5-star craft essence. Oh,
I
look
just get mid rolls.
Hey, look, it's Ushi for the 100th time. Oh, look at that, it's Kyo, which I don't mind, for the 90th time. All right, cool, thanks, guys.
Like on my channel, it's actually quite funny because we have like a little slogan thing going on. Like whenever Billy the Kid comes out, he takes out his guns to take out the 5-star servant to come out. Because whenever Billy appears in my roles, so does the servant I'm rolling for.
That is really weird.
So whenever Billy takes out his guns, he takes it out to target those servants.
Oh my god. Well,
I tend to go by gut instincts. Like every time I rolled, whenever I get a strong instinct to roll, I've always gotten a cold servant. Like, you know that you get this feeling in the bottom of your stomach, like, roll now. Like I get that sometimes, and whenever I do that, without fail, I've got.
I will agree with that. There were sometimes that was me too. Like, I love Napoleon, and in the JP server, his banner like popped up, I think in December, I believe. And I was just like, oh, I gotta roll. I gotta do this. So I was at work, and I just rolled. I just did a 10 roll, and he appeared, and I wanted to jump on top of my desk and scream. But luckily, like, my coworker just looked at me and she's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I was like, I just got something I wanted, that's all."
I got something I really desire.
That was me with Edmund. Like, I rolled him when I was in class at college, and I was like, that was my last 30 quarts too, and I'm like, I wanted to cheer so badly, but I couldn't.
Well, as we all see, we're crazy addicted to gacha. I think it might be time to recommend some non-gacha game for the people that want to get out of this never-ending cycle that we're stuck in.
And that would be my specialty. So, today's non-gacha recommendation is 99 Dead Pirates. It's a passion project for one man. He coded the entire thing, he made all the art, and he wrote the story. Unusually for a mobile game, this is a story-based game, and your only reward for playing more of it, apart from a few cosmetic items to customize your character, is getting more story. It's multiple choice with different endings, adding some replay value. And as for the actual game itself, it has a very grim aesthetic, like a lot of blacks and grays, very muted colors. And it's one of those games where you swipe to attack, dodge, etc. But it's done really well, and the timings are really tight. Like, this is one of those. It is a challenge game, more or less. I do recommend giving it a spin to see if it's your thing. It's played in portrait mode and can be played with one finger, so it's perfect for on the go, and has full offline functionality. So you don't want to use data, or you're trying to conserve it, or maybe you're just in a place where you don't have any signal. You can play this.
That sounds right up my alley.
That's good. That's good. I like that.
I like pirates. I would totally go for that.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'm gonna have to download and try it.
And I'm always up for like is this an indie type of designer that worked on this?
I do believe so. Like, entirely one man.
Nice. That's even better. Like, seeing those people that work really hard to put together their video games without the help of a producer or anything like that, those are the types of people you really need to go to.
Yes, I totally agree with that 100%. The little guys are what matter, and those are the ones that, I mean, you could give an example. Scott Kaufman, if you really want to look at Five Nights at Freddy's like that, he was literally on the last leg all by himself, did all the art by himself and all that stuff, and then bam, he got big, and now there's like 30 games and a never-ending franchise where the kids go all over the place. But, speaking of different franchises, Mr. 12, I hear you have some experience for us?
Well, kinda, but, 2 days, or actually 3 days ago now, if anyone does any PC gaming, you'll probably know the GPU manufacturer NVIDIA. 3 days ago, they launched their own cloud gaming service and brought it, so it's a bit different from Google Stadia, which has really had a rough time since it's launched, and that's putting it nicely. Yeah, Google Stadia has not had the greatest of time, but NVIDIA's new game streaming service, GeForce Now. It's $5 a month or a free version. There's both of them. And basically, it lets you take games that are on the service currently that you already own from Steam, Battle.net, Epic Games, and Uplay, and lets you just basically use those games that you already own on the service. Currently, I believe it's only on Android for mobile. I don't think there's an iPhone app for it, but on Android, it's running really well. I've been using it for the past 2 days, and I can run The Witcher 3 on my phone completely fine. It's a bit less. I think it's like 1280 by 720 for the resolution, but it runs at pretty much 60 FPS on my Wi-Fi, and even off my Wi-Fi, it's running at 60 FPS. But there are some visual quality drops when it gets really bad in terms of bandwidth.
Okay, what I'm concerned about is control. Like, how are you controlling this on your phone? Especially for a game like Witcher 3, I'd imagine touch controls would be awful.
No, so that's the thing. They have their own like phone controller layout where you hit a button, it brings up like an overlay on top of the game that has basically a controller layout. You have your X, Y, A, and B buttons, your two Joy-Cons, or your joysticks, I mean, sorry. I've been playing my Switch recently, and then you have like your arrows and your bumpers, like all those different buttons mapped on the screen over the game. Ideally you'd want to be playing it with a controller, and there are certain controllers you can do that with, especially like Xbox controllers that have Bluetooth capability. You can sync those up and use those to play the game on your phone. But if you don't have those, they do have an option for it, though it's not the greatest.
Sorry about that.
You're good. Okay.
So it's on your phone, right?
Yeah.
So how badly does it kill your battery?
That's actually what I'm testing right now. Actually, while we're recording this, I've had it open on Witcher 3 for the past hour, and it's drained about 15%.
That's far less than I was expecting.
I agree with that. Holy crap.
Yeah. Granted, I did recently upgrade my phone to a Galaxy S10e, so normally it has about 12 hours of battery life on it.
Right.
So if you have a bit of an older phone, it might not be as much. It might take up some more battery.
Like, basically, your phone would probably take up the same power amount that a Switch probably would.
Yeah, about the same amount, yeah.
But still, though, that's pretty awesome to be able to, like, play something like The Witcher on the go. Like, we know that, like, Witcher was recently put on the Switch, and we all know that the graphics really took a dramatic drop in that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, I mean, I believe the image quality on my phone is about the same as the Switch. However, because my phone's screen is smaller, it actually looks crisper than it does on the Switch, which is really nice.
That's interesting.
I believe it's the same resolution, though.
Mm-hmm. Well, even on the Switch, frame rates were also a problem as well. And you said you did not experience that.
Yeah. One thing I've noticed, because I've been testing it on just mobile data, because I want, like, if you're on the go and you're playing this, you want to test it on mobile data. And I've noticed that the app itself, I'm not sure if there's a setting to change this, but it seems to prioritize frame rates over the image quality. So if you hit like a really bad area of like mobile data usage, it's going to try and keep those 60 frames per second, even if it drops down the image quality a bit. So it's a bit of a give and take when you're using mobile data.
Well, since we're talking about good games, and I would love to, which we can make another podcast about good games. Trust me, we could do that any day of the week. We're here to talk about horrible, bad mobile games, and that includes from the PS Vita, your mobile phone device, which is what we were just talking about, and the Switch. So, what do you guys... How do I work this? What makes a bad game to you? Because for me, I wrote a whole article on it, and there were 3 qualities that I really think mattered, and one would be the story, and, like, you know, enthrallment for the people. Another one is player support. Then the other one is actually the money grab, which, let me pull it up here. Basically how they market it towards people, like, it's going to be the general public or niche market, so on and so forth. And if you guys want to go check out that article, it's on our website at mobilegamingnews.com. It's up there. It's under opinions. It's worth the check out. So, starting in order, what do you guys think about bad art? Well, what makes a bad game? 12, we'll start with you.
Okay, so I have a very specific example for this, and that's going to be Sword Art Online Integral Factor. I was a pre-registered member for this game because I was really excited for it because I'm pretty much a fan of the SAO series. There's a few things I don't like, but overall I'm a fan. So I was really excited for this game because it looked nice, and overall the combat's okay in the game, and the story's pretty decent. I actually like the story, but I could not stand the game for the life of me, and I really hate this game because it has one of, if not the worst, like gacha or not necessarily its gacha mechanics, but how it constantly releases gacha banners without giving any premium currency. It's a giant cash grab in essence, and because of how the game plays, you don't necessarily need to buy the gacha, but it's one of those things where they release a new gacha banner in that game like twice a week sometimes, and they give enough premium currency over the time to maybe do a 10 roll in a month if you're lucky, and they have extra like login bonuses for events. But besides that, they give very little of the premium currency, and they release so many gacha banners because they want you to spend the money on it. But it's this, and then on top of that, they don't release story updates for that game like ever. I think last year they got 2 or 3 updates in the entire year. I could be a bit off on that, but it was very little. And the story updates take like 30 minutes to an hour to complete. And then in between, you have the events, and like half of those are just old events being redone over and over again.
All right, that's actually a really good example. I like that. Rudra, what about you? I know you have a couple things you might want to bring up.
Right. So the way I see it, a mobile game can be, or games in general really, can be bad in 2 different ways. The first way would be very predatory monetization. Like, as a recent example would be Fire Emblem Heroes, and that absolute cancerous yearly pass of theirs, which costs more than several full-price games. And the other way a game can be bad is if it's just terribly made. And I don't even need to bring out examples for this because any of you can go to the Android Google Play Store and see that there are thousands upon thousands of asset flips and just terribly made bad quality games in general.
Okay. If you had to choose one game to pick, I guess, per se, is there one off the top of your head?
So, currently off the top of my head, like, one game that's, like, I'd actually like to take an edge case. Like, it's pretty much teetering on the edge of being a bad game and is barely saved by some rogue devs who clearly actually care about it and want to make it fun. So the game I have in mind is Shadow Fight 3. So I've been playing it for a month now, and the actual gameplay is very solid. Like, there's genuinely a good fighting game in there, and with some light RPG gear elements. But the monetization is some of the most cancerous I've ever seen in a game, period. Like, this is stuff that would make EA or Activision Blizzard jealous at how monetized it is. You have booster packs, which can only be purchased with premium currency. You have a yearly pass, which gives you extra benefits and cuts off an entire game mode if you don't have it. You have normal premium currency purchases, which are completely separated and put in a way that you can only buy it in uneven amounts, so you never can buy just the right amount to get something. And on top of that, you are spammed with the requests for ads after every single fight in order to get a bonus reward. And to top that all off, if you don't decide to do this and you decide to be F2P, your progress is hard-gated behind some incredible luck, which I will admit to having, or paying up.
Yeah, that sounds like a really bad game if you ask me. All right, Mr.
Yeah,
Yoke.
the soul-saving grace, the only reason I'm even still sticking with it is because some developers out there legitimately care and try to sneak in good items every now and then, and the actual game itself is a good time to play. Like the gameplay is solid.
All right. Well, okay, I'll give it to that. If the gameplay's solid, I'll stay. But if the paywall gets too much, I would have left by now, because it sounds like the paywall is too much.
The paywall is too much. I have gotten like ridiculously lucky. Like I came hot on the heels of I started hot on the heels of the New Year's event, which gave like legendary equipment, which is like the highest tier, quite a bit of it. So I was able to blast through the initial paywalls.
That's not the luck I have. I don't have that kind of luck. So, Miss Ryoko, what do you bring to the table, ma'am?
Alright. As a person who loves art and design, like, really, in my opinion, the art and the design going on in the piece, as well as the creativity and the writing for the story, is a major part for me. One of those games that was big to me at first, way back when it first came out, was Idolish 7. I was a big fan of that. The artwork was great, done by the same artist who did Full Moon manga, as well as Kenato Thief John, I think it was called. But she was a big time artist, and I love her work, and I went all out in this game, and it was great. I loved it. I was getting the characters I wanted. Sadly, since it was a Japanese app, I lost my account. I got a new phone and everything. I lost everything. So I started up a new account recently because they actually started an anime for Idolish 7. So I tried to get back into the mobile game. And as soon as I booted it up back in October, I believe, I went through the whole story all over again. There's like 3 arcs now, technically 4 now, I believe. And I had such a hard time to get gacha currency in that game. And that was really depressing for me at that point. Even though the art was so great and beautiful, the currency got to me for that one. So sadly I had to drop that game because I technically wasn't getting anywhere. The chances of me getting an SSR, after going through those 3 arcs, I only got like 2 SSRs out of the gacha. So at that point, it was just like, nope, I can't do this anymore. I'm dropping it. In other aspects, design-wise, some designs just didn't get to me very well. One of them, another good example for like bad design, in my opinion, would probably have to be the Ruby Arena game. That one in design, like, some of the characters just did not look like the other Ruby characters from the actual Rooster Teeth design. And seeing that was just...
Which Ruby game?
The Ruby Arena, I think it was.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I never even studied that because I saw the art and I was just like, those don't look like the characters.
Yeah. Like, the design was a bit different. Like, I get that. Like, they get, like, some other illustrators that are outside of their company to help them out every now and again. But this one, it just didn't look right. And not only that, they tried to do like 2.5D animation for the characters on the home screen, and some of it just didn't look very pleasing to the eye. So I had no choice but to drop that one as well.
So, with that first one, Idolish, was there any player support, or do you believe that the lack of the funds was due to lack of player support?
Well, like, the player support, it wasn't... I gotta admit, it wasn't very good. I mean, like, to get currency and everything in that game, it was like... I had to pay, like, I think, like, 20 or over to get even half of what you need. So, it was one of those games, like, just like in Tales of Rays, where it costs, like, $40 to do a 10 roll. It's basically close to that.
Oof. That's a little hard on the wallet there, if you ask me.
Right. And this is a rhythm game.
Yes, I know.
And rhythm games, if you don't have an SSR, you're a big-time fail.
So, with that in mind, Dr. Hollow, what do you bring to the table, good sir?
Okay, so uh, for bad games, I tend to avoid most of them that I've at least like heard about. But for the games I currently play, I don't like it when a gacha game limits you to actually have to top up to like get like a limited server or things like that. The example I'm bringing is Crossing Void.
Oh, God bless that game. May it rest in peace. Because I threw that thing to the side. Because I like the Denkenbuko series. I have it on the PS3, and I played the arcade cabinets. I did all that. I like the series. So I was happy when that came to the mobile phone. And we were out of nowhere, I was like, this is great. Then I put into practicality and started playing, and I was very disappointed.
I'm still playing the game very, very casually because I'm in one of the higher up guilds in the game. So I'm just like, I'll keep playing casually, but I don't spend money on the game. I pretty much only summon with what I get in the game, which isn't very much.
And that's another thing, like the roles. I mean, you get characters and stuff, but it's like, all right, you got a 0.2% chance, all right, and if you do 10 more, it increases by 0.1%. Yeah.
What a difference.
Yeah.
Cause okay, like for instantly, recently we got the Asuna Kimono and the Shana Kimono limited characters, right? The only way you could get a limited ticket, which is a whole different like currency for the game.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this. Yeah.
The only way you get it is like at least maybe 5 from the event that's currently happened, and like maybe 1 from login. If you want more, however, you better top up to at least get like 10. Like, let me see. And I'm actually in the game right now, and they dropped Accelerator, but Accelerator surprisingly is not limited, and you could actually just use regular tickets.
Okay, so side note while you're looking at that, I was really hyped when I saw that there was a Horizon and Middle of Nowhere character in there, and I got really happy about that, but I couldn't figure out how the heck I could get her, and that lost a lot of motivation for me. Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, there's some characters that they'll show, but they're like not even in the game yet. Like, okay, like for instance, for a 10 gotcha vulture, it'll be like basically 700 like paid currency that you need to buy, and that's equivalent to like, not, it's more than $10 just for a temple. Like the amount they ask is a lot, and that's the only way you could get limited like characters. And
how long
I
are the
just
banners again?
say that again.
How long are the banners?
Usually, the limited banners are usually like a week to a week and a half.
Yeah.
Normal
I mean,
banners
that's
are
like
about
half
a week.
Standard. That's half a standard banner would stay on.
Yeah, the current banners, they're like, they end at Valentine's.
Yeah, the current ones end on Valentine's, and then the current Valentine's event ends like the week after. Well, it's not really a Valentine's event; it's just an event.
Like you could constantly, yes, there is a guarantee after your 91 rolls.
That's also some BS. Well, for the limited time characters, I don't think it's that bad because you actually guaranteed an A rank of them at your 34th roll, but that's still pretty bad. It's 34 rolls.
Yeah, the whole process of even upgrading your units is
A pain.
hella grindy,
It's a pain.
and it's
Oh,
RNG,
yeah.
and it's RNG.
Yeah.
Because I think, what is it, when I first started playing, after you get past the tutorial stuff, after you get, like, I think the second or third stage,
You have to go through like 8 stages just to unlock like half the things you're supposed to have in the main menu.
yeah, it just, it sucked a lot. I spent, I think, about 2 or 3 hours trying to grind for, the extra equipment to throw on the characters to make them stronger. because I got stuck, and finally after 3 hours I finally got something. Like
Yeah,
it
and
was
then
just bad.
not only you need to make like your main team stronger, you also need to make like other characters stronger just to fill like the requirements to get the 3-star.
Well, you have to do that. I think my biggest problem with the game is once you hit 45, they introduce an entirely another leveling system for weapons specifically, and weapons have their
Oh
own
my
gacha as well.
god.
Weapons have their own gacha as well, and then you have to get those weapons, which are in their own gacha, and then you have to level them up, which is completely separate from leveling characters.
See, I think that's like another bad thing about a bad gacha as well, because not only would you have to roll for the characters you want, but you also got to roll for the weapons that they used.
Well,
Putting another gacha upon another gacha in the same game, that just complicates things.
On a bit of the bright side, it's not full weapon. So the weapons in Crossing Void are basically more characters, except they are.
You're talking about the support characters?
No. So you have main characters and support characters. Then you have a separate thing that are characters, but they act as weapons. So you put them onto support or main characters. They give extra stats, and they give a special ability that you can activate once every few turns.
Yeah, also Crossing Voids really feels like pay to win with the whole arena aspect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like people are stacked and you can't do anything.
Well, it's RNG, man, or pull out that credit card and just start going. That's not
Just start all that whaling.
So we talk about the bad mobile games, and we try to turn people off of bad mobile games. So what are some ideas on how to help filter it out, per se? I'll go last with this. 12, you can go first.
I don't want to go first because I have to think about this.
All right, who wants to go first? Let's go.
All right, I'll go then. Right, so I want to raise a question actually. So, what is the threshold at which we determine it's a bad mobile game? Because every single gacha we play, by virtue of being the genre it's in, has some anti-consumer practice in some form or the other. Fate Grand Order does not have a safety net for its roles. Azur Lane requires an absurd amount of grind for most events if you want to clear out the shop. Arc Knights is pathetically stingy with its premium currency, as is Honkai to an extent. So what is the line at which we determine like the game has crossed over from it's good but it has this one flaw, or it's tolerable or the flaws can be worked around, to no, this game is irredeemable?
I think for me, it's kind of a few different aspects. It's going to be like story, gacha, gameplay, and like a few of those aspects, and then each of them are weighted differently, and I kind of like weigh them against each other. Like, okay, so it has this, for an example, like Crossing Void, it has an okay story. I haven't really finished the story. I just haven't grinded it yet, and it has okay gameplay. The gacha's a bit bad, but I do like the music in it. I like the characters, so it's like it kind of just like is middle, leaning on bad. But
yeah,
then
that's what pulls you in.
Yeah, and,
I mean, like for me on my side, like I got attracted to Art Knights big time this month. Mostly because the way the gameplay is very unique and different compared to a lot of the games I previously played. A lot of the games that I played before, like I played rhythm games, I played strategy games like FGO, or more a bit on the action side with the Tales games and that sort of thing. And then when Arc Knights dropped, I was like, okay, this is different. And the way the gameplay is, it just made me think differently. And it just made things exciting and new for me. So seeing something unique and new in gameplay, that's what makes, I think, a game going from okay to wow, this is different. This is something I can play, even though, like you said with Arc Knights, some of the deals with currency and everything is not that great.
And another important thing I feel is the presence of a safety net of some sort. to go in order of the examples I mentioned, Fate Grand Order does give a free 4-star ticket every so often, and it does have the guaranteed SSR banner where you are paying for it, but for a small amount of money, you are guaranteed a 5-star unit, even if necessarily not one of your choice.
And if I'm correct, the pricing I think should be changing soon for the United States, actually.
Yeah,
For
mostly it's the
GSSR.
anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because isn't this year's anniversary GSSR like half off, half the price?
Yeah, they reduced the prices.
Yeah.
And maybe, just maybe, just slight maybe, they also make it so that you'll get 11 drops from your 10 pull.
Oh, that's high maybe.
And the tickets, but that'll be nice,
Maybe
Right.
they'll announce it at Anime Expo.
And what I would really like FGO to do is how like a whole bunch of other gachas like Arknights and Honkai from the ones I mentioned do it. Like they have a pity counter where the longer you go without a SSR unit, the higher chance you have of getting one until eventually if your luck is that bad, it gets to a point where you're just guaranteed one on your next roll.
I think actually that's one of the things I like about Honkai's is because the pity system just transfers over to the next banner. So if you go like an entire banner, if you know there's a character coming up from the Chinese server and you want to go ham for that character, but you don't necessarily want to do it on that banner, you can start like pouring it into the current banners and just basically playing on that. You probably not gonna get the S rank, and then you can build up that counter so that when the actual banner drops, you don't have to do as many rolls to get the character guaranteed.
And they recently did introduce the dorm supply gacha, which is cheaper than the normal gacha, and it's like it guarantees an S rank every few rolls, and with a higher probability of it being one you don't.
Yeah. Which I actually really like the dorm supply, and they also added basically you can choose what you want the up rate character to be now on certain banners. So like every week or so they rotate it so that this week you can choose between these 3 characters, or next week you choose between those 3 characters. So that if you're not necessarily limited to one specific character on rate at a time.
Yeah, that is one thing which I feel FGO sorely needs. Like they do have a pity system technically in the form of unregistered spirit origins, but those can only be used by hyper whales, who are the people who do not need it.
I don't even see that as a pity system. To be honest, it really isn't.
Like I will admit though, like one of the things about FGO though that really attracts me to it still to this day, is that they get really unique illustrators and artists to work on their servants. And that's the same with like Arknights that they have so far right now, as well as some of the other games as well. Like some of the games that just have one art style sometimes can get pretty boring unless they create a character that's very unique and different. Like Grand Blue, they know how to create characters in that art style very nicely.
Art style
Dragolia
aside,
Lost has a unique art style as well.
Right. Anyway, art style aside, another thing which I feel Arknights and FGO share as a common good point is that lower rarity units are highly useful to the point that you can clear the most difficult content in the game exclusively using them. Like, you don't need to be highly dependent on RNG just to finish up high-level content with low-level units. The game is fully viable even if you never roll a gold or SSR ever. I mean, obviously, this is like small, like, what's the word I'm looking for? This is like, it's not really much of a condolence because sometimes you want an SSR because you really like them as a character, but you're not restricted from any of the actual game if you don't have any. The game might be made easier, that's about it.
Yeah. That's actually, so I love Don Memo, but that's like one of its weakest points is that you need current 4-stars to stay up to date in the game. Like, yeah, you'll be able to clear all the PvE content, but any of the war games or the record busters, which if you want to get the free items, you have to get pretty good scores in those. You need the current units to do well. Like I do pretty good in war games. I usually get up to the third highest tier, and with some older units, but Record Buster, I can barely hit the top 5,000 because I don't have current units all the time.
Oh, if you want to talk about power creep, the king of power creep in gacha games is Dragon Ball Dokkan Battle and Dragon Ball Legends. Living up to the titular show, every new banner brings stronger and stronger and stronger units to the point where you literally cannot do any of the nodes unless you have the unit from that banner.
Oh wow!
And rates are utter trash
Yeah,
in both
that's
those games. Yeah, because like they are banking on the Dragon Ball name. Like Dokkan Battle is still wildly successful because it's very old, but Legends is not as successful as they'd hoped because even hardcore Dragon Ball fans have a limit, especially considering you have actual good Dragon Ball games like the Xenoverse series or the recently released Kakarot.
Yeah, those games are actually really good.
Well, like, here's the thing, though. Like, that's, like, pretty much here in the States, but also remember, in Japan, they have the spin-off as well going on with the arcade system.
Yep.
Oh, Super Dragon Ball Heroes, that is currently available worldwide. Like, but it's a Steam release, I believe.
Well, like, the Steam, yes, but, like, the card game in the arcades, like, the collections and everything.
Like FGO Arcade?
Yeah.
Like, FGO Arcade really should have been more like Azure Lane Crosswave, like a spin-off that came to consoles, because, like, I mean, I get why they made it the way they did, but the more I hear about it, like, it just sounds so bad. Like, would that be counted as an example of a bad mobile game since it's a spin-off of one, even if it's limited to arcade?
Well, like, I mean, those arcade games, like, I would like to actually see him, like, take a route, like, the way, like, we could say, like, Disney Infinity did or something like that for consoles.
No, but no, Ryoko, do you know how FGO Arcade is monetized?
Explain.
Okay, so you need to pay for every 10 roll. You want to level up your servant, you pay. You want to talk to them in my room, you pay. You want to do a battle, you pay. You get the idea?
Yeah.
There isn't putting in a token and playing for a certain amount of time or anything. No, each and everything you want to do in the game is an individual transaction, and your progress and servants from your mobile game do not carry over. Like, the only purpose of linking your ID to arcade is to get a special craft essence in the mobile game, which is one of those ceremonial craft essences that does nothing. It's just there for pretty art.
Huh.
So,
Well, okay. I mean, still though, something like that could still transfer over to a console where, like, you gotta purchase, like, the cards and everything as real gacha.
No, but
Like a
why
trading
not?
card system.
Why not do it like Azure Lane Crosswave? Just make it an actual game and charge full price for it. People will buy that.
I mean, that's what I'm getting at. Like, charge full price, but if they still want the money like they do, like you said, with, like, the arcade, you can just sell, like, card packs and stuff and let the customers scan it into their console if they want the extra boost. It's like buying DLC, technically.
I don't know. Like, do we really want gacha in full price console games now? Loot boxes and microtransactions are bad enough.
I mean, like, yeah, like, we technically already have it, and not only that, there's, like, some issues and lawsuits and stuff like that going around as well. But the question is just how you control yourself.
and with that, I have bad self-control in some cases. Looks over at collector's edition video game boxes. But, alright.
Same.
Looks over at my wall of just Don Machi books.
Yep, manga, money pit. So, we're going to do some rapid fire here real quick, guys. We need to get it out there on how to filter out the bad games for people. For me, if the art looks trashy and it looks like it was thrown together by a second grader, most likely it was, and it's for your money. If the reviews in the game are bad, then the game's most likely bad. Unless the community's salty about one certain event, which has happened in the past. So dig into said reviews. Don't just read the first couple ones. Alright, 12, your go.
I honestly, I kind of just agree with that. I don't really have I personally, when I choose games, I go after. I'm usually looking for certain games, so I don't really play many games that are like I see are trashy or I don't see very many of those. So I'm just gonna. I agree with the reviews though. I think reviews is a very important thing. Just read into the reviews, see if they are saying if the game's actually bad or if they are mad at it.
All right, Rudra, your go.
Right. Mine's a bit more in depth. So when you're trying the game, especially if it's a gacha game, do the early stages using only low tier units because even if they're only level 1 or 2, having just summoned them after the tutorial, the following levels should be accounted for that. If you cannot do those stages without bringing in the higher rarity ones, it's likely going to be a badly monetized game.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, Ryoko.
I mean, my aspect design really accounts to it. Not just in like design, as in the art, but also the gameplay as well. If the gameplay is not entertaining, different, and unique for it, it's not really much. I do also say for reviews, take it into account, but also think of your own enjoyment as well. For all you know, some people may be particular with a certain category or style for gameplay, and it turns out that they didn't like that game because it wasn't their style. So, if it turns out the game is your style, give it a shot. I don't know, who knows what's gonna happen. But just that uniqueness and flair. Like, when it just sparks in your heart going like, hey, this is the game I want to play. There you go.
All right, Mr. Dr. Hollow.
Yes. Okay. So for me, I agree with the reviews. Make sure that the reviews at least will tell you if the gacha aspect has a guarantee, because at this point, every gacha game should have one, right? Second thing would be make sure that like even with the gacha system, that it allows you to just be able to roll on the gacha, and you don't need to like do like a whole another gacha banner to get like another piece of your team,
Yeah.
essentially. Like I said before, Crossing Void does that now, and Honkai does have multiple banners. Like you will have your units and the weapon banner, but at least it's the same currency.
Yeah. It's the same currency, and if while it helps to have a unit's specific gacha weapon in Honkai, it's not the biggest thing if you don't. You can still get past a lot of the PvE content. You can get decent ratings in PvP without the gacha weapon, but it does help.
Yeah, it doesn't like make or break the character. So just make sure that the gacha game has like good balancing and doesn't have like a real power creep that you need to have like new unit shit new unit to like progress through your story or new content.
All right. So, guys, with that, there's also one other thing you can check, which is the website, mobilegamingnews.com. Yes, we spam it because that's what we're recording for. But we do reviews out there. I've done a couple reviews. I've done reviews, just a couple. Girls Frontline. I got one that I don't know if this will be out when it's out, but there was a Switch game called Deathmark, which I came across me on a buying binge, and it was actually really scary to the point where I couldn't finish it by myself. It was really good, and I like the intricate systems they got going on. And there's going to be other reviews going on.
And if you're looking for offline games, I do have a couple of reviews out, and more are coming. So if you're looking for a break from non-gacha stuff, do look for my articles on MGNN.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to have an article about GeForce Now if you want to know more about it. I'm going to have that article out hopefully within the next few days when we're recording this. And then I do some reviews as well, but I mainly focus on news updates for the games I play.
So
yeah, I do agree with that. Like some of the news that's coming out and everything is mostly on my end. So be on the lookout, especially for Tales of Crest Story. I'm still so excited for that game to come out later this year.
And don't worry, she'll have a full, in-depth, 20-page review on it. Don't you worry, guys.
That's good. Like, just seeing, like, a full, like, it looks like a console game on a mobile game. I'm so excited.
And with that note, on an exciting ending note, We will see you guys later. Say goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Ciao, everyone.